Britain's Prime Minister travels to Brussels to discuss her country's exit plan from the European Union. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. It's a critical week for the United Kingdom in its efforts to leave the European Union. British Prime Minister Theresa May met with the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker in Brussels in hopes of finalizing a Brexit deal. On Sunday, leaders from 28 EU countries are expected to vote on the 585-page draft the British cabinet approved last week. The most difficult hurdle is expected next month in the British Parliament. Already 2 cabinet members and 2 junior ministers have resigned, and there have been calls for a no-confidence vote against the Prime Minister. We begin our coverage with CGTN's Kevin Ozebek in Brussels. And Kevin, what can you tell us about this meeting between Theresa May and Jean-Claude Juncker?
Well, what they're trying to hammer out and what they're trying to reach an agreement on is a political declaration that essentially lays out the framework for what they want the future relationship to be between the UK and the EU. What there essentially is a package here. Last week, the 2 sides agreed on the divorce deal, which included things like the UK will have to pay the EU $50 billion for things like pensions for UK citizens who worked here in Brussels, to also making sure that the UK is going to continue to pay into programs that it already pledged its support to, that Brussels is overseeing. So that's all done. Now it all boils down to this political declaration. There's been a few sticking points here. We still don't know exactly what EU fishing vessels, what their rights are going to be when they enter into UK waters. And just recently, Spain threw a spanner in the mix by saying that it wants specific language in this political declaration to say that any sort of future talks regarding Gibraltar, the overseas UK territory on the very tip of Spain, that Spain still claims right to, has to be done bilaterally between Madrid and London, that the EU shouldn't have a say in that. So that all still is being hammered through. That all still needs to be reached an agreement on.
Right, and Kevin, this meeting on Sunday, what is the status of this EU summit? What still needs to be addressed?
Well, it's on for now, but if this political declaration isn't reached very soon, and by soon I mean in the coming hours, it could be called off. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says if there's no declaration for Sherpas, these are representatives of the national governments, to mull over before the summit, she is not going to attend, and that really is going to put into jeopardy then that Sunday summit. So really the clock is ticking here, and if there is not agreement soon on this, it's very possible that the UK Parliament won't be able to vote on this next month, and that's going to really push the whole timeline back even further. So the pressure is on for there to be consensus soon.
Thanks, Kevin. That's Kevin Ozebek reporting from Brussels.